is great against these hard engage, kind of forceful team compositions, like all 3 matches thus far. So there could be a question to SUNING's depth of composition style. Could be a question on kind of what SUNING's coaching staff is wanting them to bring out and pull up. And we're going to see immediately Juanfeng going towards the Aphelios, which is interesting when you think of champions like Samira and Jin being in the upper echelon of 80 carries, and Aphelios being a much more situational pick.
Yeah, that's definitely one to keep your eyes out of. I'm wondering right now, are they going to be able to pick up the Thresh right here? That has been kind of the common combo that we've seen so far. On the side of RNG, they're basically saying if it isn't broke, we're not going to fix it. They're going to run the tried and true standard kind of Kai'Sa plus Orianna Wombo combo composition, with the only change being the Olaf this time for Wei and the Pantheon switch around for SOFM.
The fun thing is, though, that now we realize this Orianna can be a flex pick. We have no idea where this is going. RNG having a lot of draft flexibility in deciding what matchups they think are favorable or not. And SUNING do pick up the Thresh. Again, the premier Aphelios duo just provides him a lot of safety and utility in the laning phase and even later on in teamfights. So we do have at least a bit more pick potential. I don't know if it's really some great hard engage when, you know, Olaf has the Ragnarok, Kai'Sa has a bit of mobility. You could potentially catch out the Orianna, but I think it will depend a lot on the rest of the comp that RNG puts in front of her.
I love this SUNING ban because we don't see any Monoliths being banned out. This is them basically throwing their hands up and saying, you could play any top mid. I'm not going to touch top mid bans. I'm just going to ban support. Kind of a funny one for me looking at that one because nobody is banning away Nautilus these days.
No, a lot of people kind of viewing Nautilus as too weak to go toe-to-toe with champions like Leona and especially Alistar after all his nerfs and like champions like Alistar are getting buffed. But Ming, of course, it was his most played champion in 2020, but it was pretty much everyone's most played support champion in 2020. And SUNING just going to keep going back to the victor. So again, a lot of zone control, great into comps that outranges and comps that really want to come into him. A bit of a slower laner, but he will just be able to answer waves against pretty much any mid lane matchup. So SUNING not exactly diversifying their composition, even though they've shown they're able to like change it up in game.
A big change, though, is SUNING is leaving that last pick, counter pick, for the likes of Bin. This time around, even Xiao has to take a chuckle because he knows he can't run away from the top lane matchup. I really want to know what Xiao is saying right now with his fist raised in the air.
I mean, I love that he actually just picks up the Malphite. Malphite has so many good matchups against a lot of the AD, like carry and bruiser champions. And you're right, Xiao is ready to fight him. Xiao is ready to go.
Xiaohui's giving him giving himself a great hurrah as he tries to take down Bin into the top lane. There's going to be no counter pick, no flexibility for you this time around. I'm sorry, Xiaohu. You're going to have to take on Bin mano y mano, and it is going to be the likes of Sylas in the top lane. Very interesting champion, and I do think that Sylas fills in the role we were talking about. Just having that multiple gap closers in engage is going to come in really handy for them.
Especially just being able to steal away that Malphite ultimate, right? Sylas is going to be a champion that actually has a good time in the laning phase against Malphite. Malphite not really able to just like walk up to him, spam the E, spam the Qs. You have a bit of sustain in your kit with your W. I will be curious to see what rune choice he goes with, whether he just goes straight for something like the Conqueror or he feels like he needs the Fleet Footwork, which has obviously been a lot more common on Sylas.
I'm pretty interested in that one as well, but regardless of which matchup he's getting in the top side, whether it's Orianna or whether it is Malphite, I do think you expect the Sylas to actually come out ahead of that one. He has a lot of sustain, a lot of kill threat when he hits that level 3, so definitely a great pickup for Bin, and I think this time, I'm sorry, Xiaohu, but you're not going to get away with the shenanigans once more. Xiaohu knows it. He's putting his fists in the air. He's doing his chant. Let's see if Xiaohu can take this to a clean 2-0 for RNG.
I also love the fact that he's running Arcane Comet and Biscuit secondary, so he's even signaling that he's playing for the laning phase, has the Scorch as well. Bin is showing the respect, did take the Fleet Footwork. That's obviously been like just standard staple on Sylas ever since the end of 2020 summer. So I don't know if we should expect too much action in terms of like topside because of the comps, but something tells me with Xiaohu's rune choice, with the way that RNG have been playing these games, that we're probably still going to see a lot of action topside, Clement.
Okay, I can't wait for that top 2v2 to develop right here. RNG are once again going to poke pretty deep into the side of SUNING's jungle. We're seeing pings happen all across the map right now, and on both sides, RNG are actually winning out on the level 1, getting deep vision into the side of SUNING. They're going to have a ward down onto the red buff. It is going to be something that SUNING can expect and play around, but information is information. I have to hand the level 1 over to RNG.
RNG, I think, definitely should have pretty solid early games as well, right? We expect Orianna to get prio in the mid lane matchup. I'm interested to see how the top lane matchup will go the first 3 levels. You would expect maybe Malphite gets pressure at level 1 if he starts Q or E, which I guess so he gets pressure level 1 regardless, but Sylas definitely level 3 should be able to come back into that one. Sylas, another reason he's good into Malphite is obviously Malphite's bonus resistances are armor, so just picking an AP champion into Malphite is always a good play.
Oh, that's a really good point to mention. I want to ask you about the Sylas pick in general because he was a very hot commodity in the preseason. However, later on, we just don't seem to see him anymore. How Ming does go in for the level 1 engage right here. A pretty interesting setup on the likes of Gala as he was waiting into River. The play does fizzle out, and it does look like, in fact, SUNING does get a little bit better of the HP trades right here. However, the play is still developing, and we finally get a little bit of a break between the trades that are happening.
Nope, Clement. These bot lanes are not going to let you stop. They're going to keep autoing each other. You got to keep going, Clement.
But I want to learn about Sylas and why he disappeared from the draft priority. Like, he was so hyped in the preseason, you know? That's what I really want to focus on. I don't really care about the level 2s. I'm not really a play-by-play. I don't want to do this for a living.
Oh,
but anyway, Migo's in. He burns the flash to get in, but is he going to get dragged into tower range? No, it was almost very, very close in, but Ming does burn his flash, and they trade flashes on the bottom side between these 2 supports. Honestly, chill out, guys. I don't want to keep talking about you.
2 summoners for 2 summoners, though, and I mean, both junglers just going to full clear down towards their bottom side of the map. Going back to the Sylas point, I feel like we saw Sylas fall out of favor because of, especially in mid lane, a lot of the mid lane champions that rose to prevalence, one of them being Victor in the mid lane, who I think has a very easy time dealing with the Sylas. Again, easy for if Sylas looks for the E combo onto you, just place it on the gravity field. I never thought Sylas was a great pick into a champion like Orianna or Zoe even in past seasons, even though a lot of people picked it into Orianna. I think it's very awkward leaving yourself as like the ball delivery combo. Zoe's ultimate isn't worth taking. And in top lane, it's just too hard to blind Sylas into a lot of like tougher matchups, like the Aatrox, like something like potentially a Fiora, a Camille, a Jax.
Well, I'm guessing Malphite is one of those tough matchups as we do see a very favorable trade. On does once again block the engage from Ming, but it's really not enough to get away as the Undertow does land. And the first jungler that does appear into the bot lane is going to get that juicy support kill. Probably everyone knew that that was coming. SOFM getting the extra movement speed buff. He does have the red buff, but isn't able to actually tag it onto Crying. They're just going to force him to do a roundabout. But very solid win onto the bottom side for RNG.
And this goes back to the flexibility we talked about that RNG has in terms of what they're willing to draft, at least. I guess it's hard to judge how good they are in each composition, considering their first match was up against TT, and we all expect TT to be one of the lower-ranked teams, considering that they've gone through a full rebuild. They're bringing in a lot of rookie players into the LPL, so this is really RNG's first real test. And I mean, actually, no matter how the series pans out from here, the fact that they've already taken 1 game, I think, is higher than a lot of people's expectations, especially after SUNING beat Top Esports 2-0. So I think this signals a lot of good things for RNG throughout the split. And this also goes back to the conversation we had earlier in the day about BLG. Do you draft for like the players on your team and the system you have, or do you draft for meta? RNG are showing a flexibility that they're kind of willing to draft for anything. Meta, their players, like counter strategies. There's going to be a lot of plays in this playbook.
It definitely feels like they can draft for all, like, going for the meta comps with the Orianna and the Kaisa, and also just going for their flavor of pick compositions. And I feel like this is something that RNG did very well back in 2018 as well. They always played around the champions like Gragas, like Ryze, like the Kaisa, and they could play all these champions in multiple roles, save for the Kaisa, but the Gragas was like a 3-lane flex for them. And so was it like for Orianna right now, as we're seeing a 2-lane flex for them. So RNG, once again, going back to something that we like to call shell drafting. At least that's what I called it in 2018. where you really hover, you pivot yourself around a couple of crucial champions, and you build your comps into different directions based off of those champions. We're going to see a big trade happening in the top side. Bin goes in on the E, does land. Abduct is going in. He does get the ultimate before Xiaohu even has access to his own. You can do that as a Sylas, and he's just looking for a chance to potentially use that. Xiaohu is going to hide out of vision and just try to get some EXP so he can at least equalize out on the ult difference. In the meantime, SOFM is going to pay a very direct visit towards the bot lane. Very brazen attempt just to get the lane state in the perfect position for his bot.
I do think Xiaohu got a bit lucky. He blast planted over, and there was actually a honey fruit there, so he was able to heal up a bit and like get out of like lethal range of Bin. Bin did take the recall, and like you said, at the same time, for whatever reason, both teams said, hey, let's 3v3 bot. Which, I mean, if you're SUNING is completely fine when Bin is winning the top lane 1v1 matchup, but not quite sure what RNG we're looking for. They aren't going to be able to contest the scuttle, as we saw Wei is already going back to the top side of the jungle. But, you know, another interesting point that I kind of want to make regarding matchups is we've seen a lot and had a lot of talks about Darksteel into Medjai's, you know, on the LPL over the past week. And obviously the big one everyone's talked about is how it's cheap and counts as a mythic. But I feel like one of the overlooked parts is that Darksteel, in my opinion, has also kind of had a flat-out buff. It doesn't give mana anymore. It doesn't combo with potions the way it used to, but it gives more flat AP. It also gives more AP for stack. So it used to give 3 stacking to 30. Now it's 5 to 50, and it gives health. So overall, even just as like the Darksteel item, it is very efficient and like very strong in the laning phase.
It's such a weird change. It's really more in line with Doran's item right now, rather than kind of a snowball item that puts you in a hole early on. So a lot of mid laners have been enjoying that one, and we definitely see it all over the Rift these days. I also do want to mention that I like the extra movement speed that you get from it when you have the 10 stacks mark. So that really helps out a lot of champions, especially snowball champions like the like the fact of something like an Echo, which can really benefit from that one.
But
so
Clement,
overall,
you are totally right. It is like the mix of a Doran's item, and it like you have all the upside of like a Doran's item, but you still have the snowballing effect, and it's kind of to a greater degree now with, again, the fact that the AP is actually higher that you get per stack. So it's a pretty interesting change made by Riot. One I like because I play mid lane, so.
Yeah, I don't really get the logic behind this item right now because it's almost pure upside. There's almost no reason not to have a Darksteel in your build, especially when, like, even a lot of AP champions that don't have mana, they can use it perfectly right now. We are going to see the 8-minute rumble, the best play that all the LPL teams really enjoy. This is going to be a collapse from SUNING's side. They are the ones that are coming into this a little bit later, and SOFM is going to be the one. He's going to jump straight onto the Orianna ball, but it doesn't look like they're going to use a shockwave just yet. And SOFM, the Prince of Thieves, he does actually find that one. The ultimate is a little bit overstacked on the side of RNG. However, they can still defend this Eye of the Herald. It only lasts for 20 seconds right now. And with all of the members of SUNING backing out, it does seem like it's just going to be a trade for a life on the side of SOFM, and he still dies in glory as he flashes the emote. He's willing to take that one for the team.
Look, the massive play would have been if Xiaohu ulted like right at the perfect time and, you know, help Wei secure that Herald. We don't see that happen. Xiaohu probably thinking a fight's gonna break out, probably needs to save his ultimate for something more important, but I'm just saying, I would have liked to see RNG go for a cheeky, like, hey, you're not stealing Herald from us play. Didn't happen. We're going to have, once again, a bit of a slower early game, which, if you've been watching the LPL the past few days, you know, this is pretty much stock and standard in this meta. We get a lot of farming, I'd say, until the first item mark, which is when a lot of action starts to break out.
Angel just looking for a back right there. And I want to ask you a question about Xiaohu, because there's been a lot of discussion about his name. He is known as the Little Tiger in Chinese, but a lot of the times his performance in spring and summer are really, really different. He does seem to kind of crumble when it matters the most. So I just want to ask you, do you like Spring Xiaohu a little bit, Spring Tiger a little bit more, or do you like Summer Tiger a little bit more?
Listen, Clement, I couldn't be an apologist if I didn't say it's all the same. He's always a great player, always a top 5 mid laner in the LPL. Listen,
You're
it's
lying
completely
to
true.
yourself. That's totally not true.
Hey, Clement,
even in playoffs?
we all have to lie to ourselves if we want to live happy lives. So yeah, he's great, Clement. He's great.
Oh my God, that's a great line from Jordan Corby. If you want to live happy with yourself, you lie to yourself. I'm not sure I endorse that view, but I think RNG are going to have a big play right here. They are standing outside of vision. SOFM does not know where they are, and they are going to go in for the potential invade. They're just waiting for the opportunity. On probably did catch a whiff of the RNG members. They're just going to throw a death sentence out of here. And it looks like with the priority that they've accumulated in the bot lane, RNG are going to be able to take down this first Drake.
Yep, and kind of expected that they would have priority, right? We know Leona has like more early burst and like survivability. Kai'Sa, of course, having better wave clear tools, taking the Halo Blades. But now Wei wants to look for a pick, and once again, we're kind of defaulting to a potential 3v3 in bot side.
This is the question of who has the better hyper carry. Both sides willing to invest large amounts of time, but Wanfeng is actually going to face check this. Dark Passage is there for him, so nothing comes of the play. And overall, RNG just kind of walk away with a good lead into the objectives. It's been a while since we've paid attention to the top side. We are seeing, once again, Bin acquiring a good CS lead like we expected out of this matchup. It is going to be an AP Malphite, however. This is pretty interesting. We have seen a lot of the Comet Malphites, but it's still been tank build that has been the most prevalent. What do you think about this AP Malphite?
I mean, it's absolutely crazy. It's sticking in line with the game one philosophy that RNG's running by. This is like a pure solo queue pick. Of course, it's all about one-shotting the enemy backliners with your ultimate. He's going to get the Hex Tech Rocket Belt as well, which is not only going to give him more burst, help him close distance, it gives movement speed now, of course. So I kind of like it for the fact that, right, we set up how SUNING's comp is really good at choke points, about like creating space, not letting the enemy team get onto you, but hey, Xiaohu only has one job. Hit his one combo, and you either die or you don't. So I feel like if he was a tank, it wouldn't necessarily mean too much for the side of RNG anyway. So just try to take down Angel and Huanfeng in the process.
I love that analogy or summary that you gave of this game. Just hit. It sounds very much like the trading card games that I've watched a lot on Twitch. Just hit. If you hit, everything is good and the game is over. I love that from you, Lyric. Very simple. Let's pay close attention to see if that Malphite can actually land something. In the meantime, we do have Ming setting up for a potential engage onto the mid lane. He does have priority in the bot side. The ultimate is going to come down, and Xiaohu is going to hit indeed, but no, crying! Oh, God. That was painful to watch. In the meantime, Gala does have to pay for the sins of his support as he is left here 1v2. SOFM finds the perfect pick. And RNG, hey, I got to hand you credit. Xiaohu did hit, but it wasn't that simple.
I mean, I don't want to act like that happened. That didn't happen. Cryin didn't ult. Cryin wasn't there. Cryin was pushing in mid wave, guys. But you know, Gala somehow died on the bot side of the map. Sad for RNG, but hey, let's pivot. Great play from SUNING, getting turret plates, moving up for Rift Herald, which is coming up soon. Great job.
Hey man, I don't know why you're so defensive, okay? Malphite did what he was supposed to. You don't have to be a Xiaohu apologist in that one, okay?
Whoa,
it was Crying who messed up.
This is not about Xiaohu or RNG or anyone. It's about seeing a play that was that painful when he didn't realize his ball was on himself. But we are going to go to the replay. Just nice read from SUNING to realize that RNG is sending Ming up towards the mid lane. And Gala kind of just standing too far forward. You need to like stand near your tower and answer the reset anyway. You have no reason to be there. So just nice job by SUNING punishing a mistake.
And the cost of that mistake was actually pretty large. Bin does get another sizable chunk of CS, does get the turret plating before the tower plates do go down. And I'll be honest, that play looks like it cost them quite a few hundred gold, all said and done right here. So it does look like SUNING are going to be able to kind of play around with the priority now in both the top side and the bottom side. And with the Herald up, we do have to expect that's going to be the next point of contention on the map.
And it's going to be interesting to see how these team fights kind of pan out, because like the Malphite was a good answer into Victor and Aphelios because he punishes immobile carries so well. But at the same time, the fact that Bin then took Sylas and the Sylas is now ahead means that realistically, RNG's other members won't be able to follow the Malphite ultimate into the fight. So I definitely feel like team fights and skirmishes are going to be heavily Suning favored if it does get into pure 5v5s and like 80 carries are on an even footing, which you already see Huanfeng's actually ahead. He's already picked up his Gale Force to where Gala doesn't have anything. So Suning are feeling like they're in a great position at this point. RNG, like you said, off of that one big play, it feels like they're falling behind and they need to start creating picks somewhere with this Malphite.
Taking a look at the gold chart, like you just mentioned, Huanfeng definitely ahead of the opposition, about 1,000 gold, and he does have the mythic item power spike, so definitely a great time for Suning to look for things and start the ruckus on the map right here. However, in the meantime, RNG did take the Herald, while Suning took the bottom side. It is going to be a trade. I like what they're doing right here, holding on the Herald for potentially another charge, as Suning is going to look to trade away this one once more.
Now we're going to get back into, you know, a bit of the lull states, which we haven't had too much of today between our rambling and, you know, just kind of how action-packed a lot of the games have been. With how Suning draft, it feels like we're going to get a lot of these games coming from them. Let's remember, they've played Victor in all of their LPL games so far, which obviously this is only their fourth, but I feel like that is very telling. It is quite surprising to me that Suning aren't gravitating towards more proactive compositions when we saw how good Huanfeng was on the Jin at Worlds and just throughout LPL. He was even picking it up before it was meta, but instead, Suning staying to this bread and butter, which they've come to like in 2021.
Yeah, definitely a very interesting choice to stick to this style, especially for Angel. He does have a lot of other good champions with the likes of Twisted Fate and Galio. Those two definitely come to mind. He's much more about roaming with the rest of his team. But in this new season, it just seems like the mid lane and the jungles have been fairly static and much more about farming up for the late game team fights.
I mean, that is another thing, talking about things that Dwinby said in interviews, is, you know, saying on stream that he feels like mid jungle is a lot more farm oriented than it was, you know, even in the last season. So, you know, not suiting someone like him necessarily, who wants to pick the Kled Renekton and go for aggressive plays, suiting a lot more of these control mages, which is why, heck, we're even seeing Dwinby, you know, pick up the Orianna in their last series again. So makes sense. This is where the meta's at.
I'm just so sad that we have to see Dwinby on Orianna. That's just that's a waste of his talents. He should be on something like Maokai.
Or Renekton, or Poppy. There's a lot of champions. Me too. His Poppy's great. You know, they just need to bring back Banner of Command. Then we can see tons of tanks, man.
I will say his champion picks are great. I'm not going to go so far as to say Banner of Command was great. That meta was kind of brain dead.
You don't miss Banner of Command in every... No, Clement, we have action,
Okay. Ming's getting caught up right here. The box does go down. He's going to return the favor, and I think On's actually going to be the one to go. But Ming... okay, interesting flash there. I don't think that was the right direction. But anyway, the fight does go on, and they do catch SOFM as he does a kamikaze dive into the middle of RNG. Bin is incoming. He takes down one onto the likes of the Olaf. Xiao really doesn't have anywhere to go. He's going to charge forward, try to find the trade, but doesn't really get it. A bit of messy team fight coming in from both sides, but at the end of the day, I think the thing we have to think about is the split pusher and Bin getting those kills.
Yeah, it's also massive that we can see in this fight, right? RNG kind of have like a one-punch combo. Malphite hits his ultimate, Orianna hits her like one rotation of spells in her ultimate as well, and that's pretty much it. You only have Gala left dealing damage, to where we see the Victor with Lucidity Boots. He's consistently dishing out damage. Silas, of course, going to get off multiple rotations of spells as well, so I feel like Suning's composition is much better fit for extended combat, to where RNG, it's like, hey, we hit our spells and we kill the priority targets, or we're just done. And we are going to see here in this replay, right? Ming initially going in, kind of getting caught out. Gala trying to follow up, and he does go down, but Ming was already dead, still goes for the flash, and all of RNG do get here first, so that's why we do see SOFM be the one to go down. But hey, the second that Silas makes his way over, the one punch we talked about for RNG is already gone. Their cooldowns have been used. Bin now able to get in there with his rotation of spells, pick up an ultimate. Victor throwing down numerous lasers. Huanfeng doing his job as well. It just looks like it's too favorable for Suning in these situations.
I guess what you're saying is their target selection has to be spot on. They're going to have to find that perfect ultimate, and it might not even be about catching Huanfeng. They might have to catch multiple carries right here as they go in once again onto the support of On. He is able to flash out. They do burn away the ultimate coming in from Ming, and everything just does reset. I would still say slightly favored for RNG as they do get the flash in the trade for the ultimate. However, SOFM is trying to find a good angle into this mid lane as we do see the ARAM. He is going to cut off Wei. He's in a very bad position getting cut off right here, but the Ragnarok is going to prevent him from getting locked down into the river. This does leave the mid lane open though. So really good forcing on the side of SUNING. Even though SOFM was spotted on a ward, RNG still could not prevent this play. Angel getting the targeted down here by Gala. He does find the full channel of the Cathian Rain, but isn't able to find the kill. On the other side, Wei finally does drop, trying to back in an unfavorable position, and that's going to open up mid lane for SUNING.
Yeah, and he's going.
Oh, wait a minute. Huanfeng actually gets tagged on by the ultimate. They do take down the tower. Really good stopwatch on the side of SOFM. He's not going to get tagged down, and Xiaohu doesn't hit. That was the question we're asking the entire game. The AP Malphite does not find the target. Good dark passage on the way out right there for SUNING, and it just feels like they pull a play out of nowhere.
Yeah, SUNING doing a great job. I feel like they've consistently had like good drafts, even game 1 and now, with like plans that made sense. They're just playing out to their win conditions. They have good itemization. I really like the Gale Force coming out from Huanfeng when we've set up. Realistically, RNG's only way of winning is with that Malphite ultimate right into him. We are going to get a bit of a replay in the corner of how SOFM did pick off Wei. Wei was already low, and he just went for it.
That was a lazy back from Wei. You know, he's just trying to back as soon as possible. A lot of pro players do this just to save some extra seconds, but that is not the situation. You want to try that one. SOFM does pick up the kill. And we do see the map opening up relatively favorably on SUNING's side. You have mentioned a lot that Bin, is a silent split pusher. He can bully around this Malphite. So with these long lanes, I guess the rotations are going to go over to SUNING as well.
And I feel like both of their soul laners will fare better in side lanes than the opposition. Victor just presses E and he can pretty much walk away. Bin will win 1v1 against either of RNG's side laners. And for RNG, it's going to be about consistently kind of grouping up. I feel like they're going to be behind on tempo unless they give up one wave of pressure. And they're just going to group mid, walk into the river as a 5-man core, and you're just kind of hoping you pick someone off. You obviously have Ming's engaged. You have Xiaohu who can jump in, or Gala who can follow up. Another potential play is Xiaohu ults in, Ming follows up, and Gala just ulting to the backline immediately. The problem is that Bin is one of the big members on the team, and even if you do pick off someone like Huanfeng or Angel, Bin's still going to be the big boss alive kind of in the backline.
Feel like we're seeing a replay of our JD Gaming series. Wait a minute, there is a flash coming in from Xiaohu. He does get the 2-man knockup. The support does go down, but in goes Bin. He actually has a Malphite ultimate as well. Huanfeng is still dishing out tons of damage into the front line. He's going to have to flash away from that Olaf, but he does keep himself alive. Bin is still alive as well as Angel comes in trying to pick up the scraps with the Chaos Storm. In comes SOFM. He gets the first kill, flashes over, is able to stun up Xiaohu. Xiaohu goes golden as he tries to avoid death right here. Angel is going to pick that one up, and Crying is sent running. Angel flashes over the Raptor Pit just to pick up the double kill, and Wei is the sole member alive right here. Excuse me, Gala is still running for his life as well, but with that movement speed, I do expect SOFM to be able to put some damage right here. This could be a death rush for the Pantheon. He's still going in. He's finding a good angle to stop the damage, and Gala, I think he's just going to be traded down. What a great play by SOFM. I really love what he did with the Aegis right there, walking further back to prevent the damage on the front side of himself.
Clement, the thing to realize is that was a 4v5. Like, SUNING came out ahead with only 4 members. Angel wasn't even there. Look how fed Angel is. Look how much damage and gold is on this Victor. And you realize RNG still couldn't pull out ahead. And even after that fight, looking more reminiscent to the JDG BLG series, where JDG was the team winning these 4v5s just from having the superior comp. And we're going to see here, Ming is looking for the engage. They channel with Xiaohu, but guess what? You just used your one-punch combo onto the Thresh and Pantheon. The big squishy damage dealers are still alive. They buy time. We see a nice movement coming out from Huanfeng and Bin with the Zanya's Hourglass. Angel now gets to the fight, drops his ultimate, zones 3 members off, can keep walking forward, which gives time for Wei to ult into the backline. They pick up 1 kill. They're going to get Xiaohu down now as well. And now RNG are just in like a very hopeless position as Angel with such a clutch flash. Don't know if it's exactly clutch. It's pretty baller though. I respect him for it. He's getting these kills, Clemenchu. He's looking to carry this game.
4-0-3 on Victor, the only champion that this man needs so far in Season 11, and he's putting a great show right here for all of us on this map. SUNING, once again, they're going to have an inside track heading towards this Drake. Xiaohu just blew his rocket belt, and that's the go sign for SUNING as they rush into the middle. Crying is going to escape for SOFM. SOFM, can he actually take the Dark Passage? There's 3 wards on that Lantern, so the answer is no. SOFM tastes a little bit of what Uzi tastes during Season 8 right there, and SUNING are left being down 1 member as RNG are funneling towards the Baron. We do have to pay close attention. Xiaohu still does have his ultimate. The combo is still very much alive for RNG, so they could be looking for the pick. Bin is going to be the one that is going to use his ultimate, probably be the one to go in first, and the fight is still ongoing. Xiaohu has the ball on him. Is he going to make the layup? He's looking for his targets, but in the meantime, SUNING do decide to back now that the Baron has been taken away by RNG.
I really like how RNG played that. They used like the threat of CC as CC. SUNING can't actually funnel into the Baron pit with the fact that Xiaohu and Cryin still have their ultimates up. So RNG just played it slow. It allowed them to get the Baron. And it's just going to even out to being a trade to where SUNING are able to pick up this Mountain Drake, which I would say definitely feels more valuable looking at the game holistically when we keep talking about how RNG's comp is just kind of like a one-burst combo.
Can actually get away from this one? The flash coming in from Wei, but the Gale Force is there for Wanfeng, and Angel is waiting right here. I don't think you should overchase this. It is going to be a 3v4 situation right here as the members are funneling in. Wanfeng does use his cleanse. He does have a tower in the bot lane, so it looks like a bit of an overchase probably for RNG as Wei does go down. SOFM is in the fight. He gets the stun. The Aegis is there to prevent any damage. And a little bit of over-aggression from the side of RNG. They do manage to burn the cleanse, but probably not worth it on their side.
Clement, you don't understand. This is why players do lazy backs. Lazy backs turn into kills because the enemy team just can't resist that, that juicy Aphelios. It's all part of the plan, Clement. It's all part of the plan.
It's 200 IQ plays in the LPL. This is Jordan Corby, a world's coach, telling you to do lazy backs. Forget about hiding yourself in brushes. Forget about actually walking up your ramp like a good player. Do what Wanfeng does, back in the river.
Fundamentals, we don't do fundamentals here in the LPL, Clement. Fundamentals get you to some other league, like the LCS or something. Here is just about, crazy plays, some aggression, lots of team fights, actually. We're not seeing as much aggression, but we are seeing constant team fighting.
I am going to go with the flow under your suggestion. You are the coach man here, so whatever you say, I believe in you. That's exactly how you should do it, and that's how the LPL does it. That's the bottom line for that one. We are going to go into a bit of a lull right here. SUNING still very much favored on the map. They're up 3,000 gold. Taking a look at the items, we do see some interesting item choices here. The Aphelios already completed with his big ticket item in the Infinity Edge. And what do you want to see next out of the BF sword coming in from the Aphelios? Because I think a lot of players are kind of caught between going for the GA, and we also have seen the Bloodthirster be a pickup here as well. But wait a minute, sorry. Fight happening in the mid lane as Malphite actually is stuck onto the box. He does ult over the wave. Great combo coming in, and they do snipe out the like of Angel. That's going to be the first death for him on the game, but Gala goes down in the meantime too. Wanfeng is still alive. He's kiting away from this one. It is going to be a 2-for-1 trade on the side of SUNING. Even though the combo was great, they did not find the boy by the sea, and he turns this team fight around.
And this is why we talked about, even though RNG got the Baron, it didn't seem like there would be good ways for them to actually use it, and SUNING just being able to get another Mountain Drake ended up being more valuable in the end. Getting 2 more kills, they're just going to be able to keep playing the vision control game, control the bottom side jungle from RNG, get the Mountain Soul, and then with that, I actually don't think it matters too much between the GA and Bloodthirster that Wanfeng gets. With the fact that he's potentially going to get a Mountain Soul, I think I'd rather see the Bloodthirster. I think it is a bit, just a better of an item overall that gives you more stats, to where GA obviously just a lot more about the fact that you get a revive, so maybe that could have been his buy if they weren't going to get that Mountain Soul, but I think he should just be able to outright survive the burst. Anyway, as we see in the replay, Xiaohu trying to find the pick onto Cryan. They do go in. Cryan actually does go down, but this is what we're continuously talking about. They have to blow all their cooldowns just to find these initial picks that in the extended trades, RNG's composition doesn't really offer too much outside of Gala.
It does seem like if RNG don't find both backline carries in Angel and Wenfeng, then all the comboing they can do is completely moot, and they're still going to fall down. Bin is looking for an angle onto the likes of Wei. Wei still does have his Ragnarok, so neither side is going to overchase onto that one. However, we are setting up for the final Dragon Soul, like you were talking about. If this Mountain Drake supposedly does go over to Suning, that's just going to make Wenfeng and Angel even more unkillable. So I feel like RNG have to fight for this one. They definitely have to get all of their ducks lined up together. This is kind of the do or die moment for them, and they are going to try pushing up mid lane, trying to get Suning to rotate a little bit too far onto the out into the open. However, Suning are playing this one very, very safe. We're still 30 seconds away from the Drake, and the fight is about to start as we see a 3-man ultimate coming in from Bin. They find their first kill. Ming is about to go down, and we see Gala trying to trade off the backline, but it doesn't really work. They're going to go down as well. Pantheon is going to jump in with the man drop. Doesn't find a target. Crying is able to kite away from this one, but that was the power of the Sylas. You have a wombo combo. I have a wombo combo.
And Bin just doing so good at being decisive, finding the angle, instantly goes for it. Wenfeng chaining his ultimate as well to just layer a bunch of damage. We are going to see SOFM just go and solo pick up the dragon as the rest of Suning look to siege.
Oh, another ultimate goes down as he steals the shockwave away from Crying. Crying drops, and this is going to be an open base for Suning for the taking. There's 4 members down. We're going to have some very close revives, but it is still going to be a rather dire situation, and Suning are not relinquishing the push. They are going to teleport straight into the base. They want to finish this right here, right now. Bin goes in. He's trying to look for Gala. Gala is kiting away, almost half health. We see Wenfeng flash in and take down the AD carry. There's no sustained damage incoming for RNG anymore, and they all fall down. Bin with a great teleport, a good surprise play. Xiao is the only one left alive right here. A perfect ace, and Suning are going to close this game out. Damn compositions. They don't want any more shenanigans coming in from RNG. They're going to take this one the tried and true, the standard way.
Bin gets counterpick, and it completely changes the game. RNG aren't able to put the same amount of resources into Xiaohu. Bin's pretty much able to do whatever